Well, here we are today at Corrie. It's my day off. I've worked the last 6 and so I had to come to Brodick anyway to take Sally to the vet for a wee monthly jab which she gets for her arthritis. So just thought I'll carry on to Corrie and get quite a nice day and get a wee bit of film just standing at Corrie, right in the centre. Let's see where Sally is actually. She's right beside me, of course, that's where she is. Yeah, there we go. A little bit warm for Sally today, but not too bad because it's a bit breezy. Anyway, so, yep, centre of Corrie. There's the Corrie Hotel up there, hopefully you can see it. It's in the top left, beside the tree. Sally's semi-camouflaged by the kind of white stones. Nice benches there right in the centre. There's some parking as well, that's how I've stopped here. My car's just sitting there. Great views from there. And then there's a little road that goes up the hill there to some more houses. And then the sharp bends in the road there. The narrowest bit of the road. And like Corrie Terrace. And all the way along past the school to the end of the village. Oh, Sally's lying down. No longer camouflaged. On a nice cool black rock. Well, maybe do it. I'll show you. So she stopped anyway. I'll just stop up here. Oh, she's following me. Oh Sally, I think this is too steep for you. No, I'll come back down then. That's okay. You don't need to be that attentive. I'll just stay here. You don't need to be a climbing Westie. It's alright. There we go. Okay. Alright. Nice calm sea. Quite a dark sea because it's cloudy and sunny intervals. It's a mixture today, getting the odd wee shower. It's really nice actually because it's just not too hot for that reason, because you've got the breeze, you've got the showers, you've got a little bit of sun, so it's warm and nice, but it's not too warm. Just shoot over there. In fact, you can see the showers I was talking about if I zoom in over there, because that's one bit there, you can't see the mainland. Obscured, so there's a lot of rain dropping over there. And then if I go over to the left a bit, nice and clear and sunny. And I'm thinking about what my islands are here. Anyway, Little Cumbria and Butte will be up there somewhere, but I'm not exactly sure which bit I'm looking at right now, to be honest. Yes. That is Little Cumbria there. And then, that part of Little Cumbria I can't see. I'm thinking that is Cumbria. And then that's Butte. Oops, there, Butte. I could be wrong. I live at the other end of the island really, so sometimes I'm just a bit stupid. So, Sally, being very good. Ruff, ruff. What we'll maybe do, I'll just take a wee walk up to the road and just since we're down here, take a wee shot up the road. Cyclists going past there. Might even just take a seat in that bench myself actually. A good idea. I'm always talking about how nice it is to sit in benches, and then I usually end up just walking about with Sally everywhere, not sitting on them. So I think I'll do that this time. The point of sitting on the bench. The bikes. Here she comes. Right. I've walked around this wee grassy bit, I think. In fact, I'll get up before Sally and then I can film the road and she's not on the road. So there we go, that's where we are as far as the road goes. That used to be a wee shop on the left there. Still got a post box. And the memorial up there. Tied in action in France. Ukrainian flag. So let's come up. Down the road there. Look how close this dog is. Not impressive. That's why she's off-footed. Such a good dog. And then, like I said, the Corrie Hotel. I'll take a wee zoom in. And there's the Holy Isle right in the furthest distance there. There we go. Where is she now? Over there. Okay. Having a look about. Come back round to look for me. She doesn't know I'm behind her. So she's gone full circle around this car. And now she's coming back to get me. And I won't be there. She can't even get round. Oh, can't get past. Lost dog. Right, I better save the lost dog first of all, and then we'll go and sit on that bench. So, lost dog. There we go. Been saved. Let's go and sit at these benches here. Okay. Right, this is the direction we're going here, Sally. Okay. Well, might as well sit in this one since we're here. Let's put my bag down. There we go. Right. Under the bench. In the shade. Coming out there. So what I'll do, since Sally's hot, I'll get some water out. And I think I'll tell you a little story while I'm sitting here. So, the last video I did was of the Waverley coming in to Brodick, and stop Sally there. Oh, I haven't got a water bowl, that's not so good. Well, what I'll do, I'll just do it up on the other times. Set the camera there. Okay, Sal, you have that there. There we go. There we go. And there she goes. Hopefully you can see the view while I've sat this on the arm of the bench. I'll just have a look and see. Yeah, that's not bad. Give her some water on the back. So yeah, I did this video of the Waverley, and when I was doing it, it occurred to me that I have been on the Waverley before, but I haven't been on it for a while. But so it's about time I probably went on it again. and you just end up being so busy you don't kind of get around to things. But the one thing I remember about being on the Waverley was the engines. The engines are just amazing, you know, you get right up beside them, and the power of them and the noise. And anyway, I ended up thinking, well, when was the last time I was on the Waverley? And it was a school trip. So, bearing in mind that I'm 57 years old now, you're going back a long time, right? I'll move this camera a different angle and get another shot as well, I think. On top of there for a second. Nice thing is if I sit in the armrest chair, it stays still, doesn't it? So I'm not shaking it about, so maybe that's a good thing. So, I was on a school trip. And I think I was quite young, because the memory I have is the Waverley went to Millport, and apart from the engine, which I remember buying in Millport this pack of kind of fake cigarettes where it actually blew out of them and they produced smoke, so they really looked like you were smoking a cigarette, and this was like quite cool, you know. So I bought these cigarettes and was smoking them at Millport in my shorts. It would have been, because up until first year of high school you wore shorts all the way through primary school. There were no long trousers at all. So there I am in Millport, with the Waverley in the background, smoking my pretend cigarette in my shorts with my pals, and I did wonder what year that was. So I got in touch with a friend of mine, actually called Lorna Dunn, and I remember she was there as well. She was in my class. And she told me that we went when this was to celebrate Glasgow being 800 years old. So I was at school in Glasgow, at Jordan Hill, and it was exactly 800 years old, and we'd all been given this mug, Glasgow 800, a brown kind of mug with a kind of flower thing on it. Glasgow is 800 years old, and the part of that celebration was all the kids were going to Millport on the Waverley. So it was at that time. So then I could date it exactly when it was, and it was 1975, spring 1975. That's the year it was. I would have been 10 years old, smoking a cigarette in Millport, and or pretending to. But in 1975, so we're in 2022, so that was 47 years ago. So I'll maybe turn this camera around again and get another angle of things. So what I'll do, I'll show you what Sally's doing. First of all, there she is right there, she's just enjoying lying down. And then maybe what I'll do is I'll just point the camera at the road for a minute, past the flowers. Corrie Hotel for a second. 47 years ago. So I thought, right, well, the Waverley, I've always thought of it as this really, really old ship, and even then I thought of it as a really old ship, old steam, you know, driven paddle steamer. But it's the last seagoing one in the world, so it's very, very old indeed. And I looked it up, and it was made in 1946, so in fact not as old as I thought. It must have been a tough time to make it actually, because this was the year after the war started. Materials would have been very scarce. There was still rationing for quite a few years after that, and everything had, you know, there'd been such a massive war for 6 years. So it's impressive that they built it straight away when the war started, when the war finished. But it also means that although the ferry is now very old, I'll just work out 46, 5, 6, 6, 6, 7, 6, 8, 6, 9, 6, 06, 16, 76 years old, so 3/4 of a century. It's 3/4 of a century old, and I haven't been on it for half a century. So there's the thing, 47 years, almost half a century. 47 years has passed since I was on it, and I'm just thinking, well, I've been on it, and not realising that half a century has gone by. Just like that, gone. Half a century. And but the other thing is, oh, there she is there still. nosing about. 46, I went in 75, which meant that the ferry was only at the most 29 years old when I was on it, right? Might even have been 28 and a half, but 29, right? So, by the scale of things, not on a ferry at 29. When I was on the Waverley, I wasn't celebrating being on then a ferry that was the last ferry that could go in the sea and paddle steamer. It wasn't like that. It must have just been a regular kind of ferry at that point, I suppose, because it was less than 30 years old. And I'm not making any political point here, and I really mean that, but the ferries that we have, that we use, and other islands as well, quite often are that age. So that's not an exceptional age for a ferry. That's kind of you just get on it and it's a run-of-the-mill ferry. The point is, that's how you get on it. You see it, you get on it. It's just an ordinary ferry. It's not some ancient, incredible thing to be admired, that it's still, the last one in the world or whatever. It's just your regular ferry. So that's what I was getting on going to Millport. So it was actually quite new. So there's the two things I'm learning there. When I went to Millport, I was getting on a regular boat, and that's how much time's gone past. Half a century, and the idea that boat is old at all is a relatively recent one. So it's just amazing how time flies, basically. I suppose you could just sum it up with that. Talking about the islands earlier, I'm zooming in. That is Little Cumbria, and it's now cleared the rain. It's gone behind it. Everything's cleared up over there. So that is definitely Little Cumbria there. So, well, Cumbria is the next one, isn't it? So that must be it. Cumbria, in fact it is closer. So all that bright green and orange stuff there must be Butte. Yep, that's what that is. And then, hopefully I won't disturb Sally if I stand up, but if I go even further over there, you can see mountains in the distance, and it's much, much further away. So we're going back to the mainland again, I guess. It looks like there's a tiny wee island in front of it. I'm not sure what that would be. This is a peninsula. Anyway, there we go. So that's my thought for the day. Waverley is old, but wasn't. I wasn't old either. I was young, right? What did we say I was? 10. Yeah, that's right. So, I'm old as well. I've got older as much as the Waverley, and the Waverley's the last one standing. So really, I suppose it's not a surprise in a way that I'm about to get a bus pass in a couple of years. And you don't feel old, but suddenly you are, just like the Waverley. But like the Waverley, I can still charge about the place, so that's okay. As long as you can still charge about, I think everything's fine. Wind's picking up a wee bit there. Oh, and just while I'm at it, I don't suppose you can hear me because of the wind, but I'll just focus in on the wee seal. There we go. I think it's twice that seal's disappeared, although like I say, I'm not 100% sure that it's been washed off there and the cement's been taken off. Is it a bit of metal that it's on? I can't remember. Anyway, Storm removed it a couple of times and it got found and put back up there again. So it survived as well. And there we go. The centre of the day. I think the best thing to do is to finish this. This is what we're meant to be doing on our day off at a bench in Corrie. Certainly if you're Sally, you sleep under it. And if you're me, I should just be half dozing, relaxing on top of it. And that's a good thing to do in your day off, isn't it? quite relaxed. This one here, little tiny rainbow thing, the things you see when you're lying down under a bench. It's like one of those little things that you're meant to find or things that have been leaving lying about. There we go. So to conclude, hopefully I'll get on the wave again in the next half century, sometime. Before another 47 years goes past. That's my intention anyway. Looked very good when I came into Brodick. Right, there we go. Oh, woke up here. Sniffed something. Great sense of smell. Even in her sleep she can smell things. Crazy. Someone can come in and she didn't hear the door open or anything, she's asleep, and then she knows they're there. She sniffs the air. What a dog. Okay, well before I fall asleep like Sally, I'll turn the camera off. Adios.